This is Artie Clear here with Chip Caray from the Atlanta Braves. Chip, how you doing?
Good,
Thanks
Artie.
for being on the show.
Great to be with you.
2-0 victory the other day. Derek Lowe threw a nice game. Looks like the Braves are winning their first game. They're going to be a good team this year. What's your point on the Braves or your take on them?
Well, we're on pace to be undefeated this year, so we like that start. But it's a good club. It's a very deep club. It's a team that's going to have very good starting pitching, an excellent bullpen. It's a very balanced club with power, with some speed at the top of the order. They're going to hit for average. They're going to hit for power. And adding Dan Uggla is going to really make Brian McCann and Chipper Jones even better hitters. So this is a club, we were talking last night at dinner, that a lot of us in Atlanta feel has a chance to have a very, very special year. They've got to go out and do it, but I think top to bottom, this is probably a better team than the team last year that went to the playoffs. Time will tell.
They actually, a lot of prognosticators have the Braves winning the division over the Phillies. Now, I don't really know how they got that, but I know the Braves are deep. They got Freeman now, and you got Dan Uggla, which is a great player, great acquisition to them. Tell us about the bullpen, because there's not really household names in your bullpen.
Well, they are good. The difference is we don't have Billy Wagner out there, and everybody knows Billy Wagner's story. He's going to go to the Hall of Fame, one of the great closers in the history of the game. But taking his place are two guys that played prominent roles in the team last year. Johnny Venters, who also throws in the mid to upper 90s from the left side, and Craig Kimbrell, who's a mid-90s and up closer from the right side. In fact, people have called Kimbrell a right-handed Billy Wagner because he's built a lot like Billy Wagner was. It's a very deep bullpen. We've got three left-handers in Eric O'Flaherty. Johnny Venters is out there, and George Sherrill, who's closed before. And from the right side, we've got Peter Moylan. Scott Linebrink, also part of the club from the right side of the bullpen. Christian Martinez is a long guy who can fill a variety of roles for your team. And as I mentioned, Craig Kimbrell. It's a good, deep, hard-throwing bullpen. And I think, Artie, the thing about our team that's sort of going unnoticed is, yes, you have guys like Chipper Jones who are 38, 39 years old, and you've got a few veterans on the team like Derek Lowe and Tim Hudson, but the core of this team is really starting to get very young. You have Freddie Freeman, as you mentioned, Jason Hayward, Brian McCann, Nate McLouth is still a young player, Martin Prado is a young player. This is a veteran team in many respects, but it's also a club that has a chance to grow together and grow well for the next 5, 6, 7 years.
Always thought with Atlanta had always a great farm system and great upper, like the GMs were good, and Bobby Cox, I know he's not here anymore, and Leo Mazzoni. They always had the right people. John Schuerholz always had the right people. When you're talking about the Atlanta Braves right now, I got to think that they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to fight the Phillies. If they don't beat the Phillies out, they'll probably get a wild card. This team's improved from last year, who were in the playoffs. I really like your team, and I like the hitting. Tell me about the starting pitching, though.
Well, it's consistent. I think those guys down there would be the first to say, no, we don't have the Cy Youngs that a Roy Halladay or a Cliff Lee have. There aren't the big names, but there are guys that can give you 200 innings, make their 30 starts, and win in double digits, and give you a chance to win every single ball game. Tim Hudson's won 20 games before. He's one of the most accomplished pitchers in Major League Baseball. Derek Lowe's gone 30 starts, won 10 or more games, 9 straight years. That's very difficult to do in this day and age. Tommy Hanson is probably the best pitcher with a losing record in all of baseball last year. Had 9 games where the team gave him 1 run or less to work with, left a game 6 times with a lead only to see that evaporate. And he still won 10 games and lost 11. Jair Jurgens has been banged up the last year and a half. We're hoping he's going to have a big bounce-back year. And in the 5th spot, Brandon Beachy's a rookie. Mike Minor is a left-handed rookie, both of whom have come through our system. Beachy very rapidly, an undrafted free agent they signed for $20,000, and here he is in a major league rotation on a club that's got a great chance of going to the playoffs. And Minor's a number 1 pick and a left-handed guy that they think can develop into a number 2 or number 3 starter. So you're right. The pitching staff is unheralded, but it's very, very good. And the scary thing, I think, for the rest of the National League is there's even more pitching coming in the minor leagues at the AA and AAA level.
That is tremendous. I think that Haywood have a big year. Uggla has a big year. Chipper Jones, if he don't get hurt this year, they're going to be knocking right on the doorstep and give the Phillies all they can handle. I think it's
going to be a great race. It's going to be a great race, and I think anybody who's followed the Braves knows if Chipper Jones, and it's a big if. I mean, he's 38 going on 39 years old. But if Chipper Jones can play 120 to 140 games, somewhere in there, and do what Chipper Jones was doing before he got hurt last year, you're right. This is a team that's going to be a very dangerous, balanced, powerful club that can win with pitching and defense. It can outslug you at times. And really the Braves haven't been able to say that the last couple of years. They've had to really outpitch people to win consistently, and fortunately they've been able to do that.
You know, this Braves team, just a few more minutes, but this Brave team reminds me of the Phillies team when they were coming up with not the great pitchers, but a couple pitchers, a lot of hitting, a lot of fielding. Your Braves, it's almost like a proto model of the Philadelphia Phillies like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I like this team. I think you guys will make the playoffs. Got a lot of strengths and all around. You're hitting, you're pitching, your bullpen. It doesn't sound like you have any weaknesses. I think you got a real legitimate chance of not only winning the division but going to the World Series. Atlanta, let me tell you something about the Atlanta Braves. They're good ball players, and they've been good for a lot of years, and they're not going to falter now. Freddie Gonzalez, a good manager, and I'm sure he'll do an excellent job with the Atlanta Braves. And I want to thank you so much, Chip, for having this interview
Anytime,
with us.
Artie, my pleasure.
I
Good luck.
appreciate it. Thank you
Anytime.
so much. You got
Thank
it, right?
All right, be good.